Tracking our first widespread rain and snow system to come through for the new water year, and it's another one right behind us, so it's a 1-2 punch here for the rest of the week. I'm ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods. Here's a look at the breakdown on those headlines. Timing, when? Wednesday night through Thursday morning, which means for trick-or-treaters, I think there's going to be some good news in this forecast. And then we've got another weather system that's due in late Friday through Saturday. That one actually more impactful, even with bigger rain and snowfall totals. And that means our impacts will include snow and rain, altering our travel somewhat, disrupting it with the potential for chain controls even in the Sierra. Needing to monitor the forecast as we move into the middle and end of our work week. And of course, we're going to keep you posted on our ABC 10 Plus streaming app. Make sure you download it, especially as we head into a very active part of our year. A look at the rundown of October and what wild swings we've had. Started off the month in the 100s. That stretch, that record stretch of heat that we had to start off the month. Then we started to turn things around mid-month. Had a great week last week. Dry weather, kind of time to catch up on some of that yard duty before the winter season begins, and the rain as well. Now we're seeing the cooler temperatures, and that's going to stay in place, meaning we have the opportunity to bring down that snow line as well. Statewide precipitation, our new water year started October 1st, and we haven't seen a ton of rain so far. Kind of a slow start for us, with everyone running a deficit at this point. Now, it's not huge deficits because, quite frankly, we just don't see a whole lot of rain at this point in the year. But the last significant rain that we've had for downtown Sacramento, we have to go back almost 180 days. That was back on May 4th, where we had slightly over ½ an inch of rain. So the dry season usually starts in May. It takes us all the way through September and at times into October. And that's certainly been the case this year. We had 4/100ths of an inch of rain in August. But outside of that, again, that May 4th date was the last significant rain that we've had in downtown Sacramento. Now, I also mentioned that no, we don't see a whole lot of rain in October, usually less than an inch for the entire month, and we just haven't had any really this month at all. So November is when we start to see things ramp up, but the bulk of our precipitation, 50% of our annual precipitation, comes in December, January, and February. So we're still a little bit of time, it's still a little bit off from where we see a ton of weather systems coming through, big atmospheric rivers blasting through the state. Timeline for this next round of wet weather and the one to follow is as follows. Wednesday evening, our snow level actually is about 5,500 feet. Now that will continue through early Thursday. So that's when we have that weather impact alert in effect, the first round. Could see disruptions with the commute and possibly with those holiday decorations that might be out. If they're a little bit vulnerable to getting wet, might want to bring those inside Wednesday before the rain comes in overnight. Friday, we have our next round of rain and snow. This one's going to be a heavier weather system with more in the way of precipitation. So it's an evening alert through early Saturday, with travel delays very possible on Saturday. Where do you see some of these totals that we're talking about? In the valley, about ½ an inch to an inch. That will be the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday timeframe. So we're taking a bigger picture look here. Slick roads, travel delays, and again, that snow line down to about 5,000 to 6,500 feet. As we look at the combination of snow totals Wednesday through Saturday, anywhere from about 4 to 30 inches of snow. This is really opening things up here for the winter season and really our fall season as we get going on our wetter time of year. Low pressure system just brewing off the coast. Now, this has a lot of cold air with it. That's why we're going to stick with those cold afternoon highs and the lower snow line. Our satellite and radar showing generally clear skies, where we're going to pick up more cloud cover as we head into our Wednesday, but it's going to be slow going to get the rain event started. Wednesday's a dry day. No problems with the morning commute, evening commute weather-wise. It's during the evening that this band of rain comes pressing through. So by 10 p.m., just before midnight, we start to see our first band of rain moving through the valley right along that I-80 line. There's the snow north of I-80, and then it moves into the 80-50 corridor during the evening into early Thursday. But look at how fast that moves through. By the afternoon, things are really drying out for the valley, but the snow sticks around for the trick-or-treaters in the Sierra. So get those shovels out. Hopefully you have a costume that will accommodate that. By the time we get to 11 o'clock on Thursday, still seeing snow in the Sierra. So for the Valley Halloween forecast, I'm going to call for dry conditions. It's going to be chilly out there, though. Temperatures falling to near 60 by 7 p.m., 57 at 8 p.m. That sunset at 6:06. Next week at this time, we're going to be talking about a whole different sunset because of the time change. Here's a look at that cold air that sticks in place Thursday, Friday, even into the beginning of the weekend before we start to see more near normal highs in the outlook. Thursday morning is when we see the biggest band of rain come through with the first weather system, and then it starts to wind down pretty nicely here by the time we get to the trick-or-treating forecast. Like I said, as we look deeper into our Friday forecast, now this is where things get really interesting. Friday night for Friday Night Football, looks like things are going to be okay right now. That's one to stay tuned to, because I know we've got almost the end of the season for everybody, kind of wrapping up what's been a pretty dry one for us. And then the biggest band of rain comes through overnight Friday through Saturday. We've got snow for this year, and this is really going to pile up, folks. If you're headed up into the high country for the weekend, be prepared for a much different travel forecast Friday morning than Saturday morning. Saturday evening, we're still looking at snow showers for the Sierra right along 395, 80-50 corridor, right in that Tahoe Basin. By the way, we had our first chain controls up of the season on State Road 89, so things are happening here. All right, model rainfall totals. Let's take a look at this. By Thursday morning, we're at about 1/4 of an inch to 3/10 of an inch for the valley. We don't pick up much more, even through 11 p.m. That's why I'm forecasting a dry Halloween night for the valley. In terms of that Friday into early Saturday forecast, look at the rainfall difference here. We've got about an inch to over an inch of rain coming in. That really starts to open things up for the rainy season. There's not much left behind during Saturday afternoon, though. Now let's take a look at the model snowfall totals. And again, we'll see about 1 to 2 inches Wednesday night into Thursday. Not a huge whopper of a storm, but then we get into Friday through Saturday. That's when the snow really starts to pile up. Chain controls very likely, and bigger travel delays in the high country, especially because sometimes people are caught off guard. They don't have their chains or their snow tires on, and we get a lot of spinouts, usually with the first weather event like this of the year. Somebody was asking me, oh, okay, will this stop our fire season? Well, fire season is all year long in California, but in terms of the peak fire season, this is really going to put some moisture on those fuels. The depending factor is if we continue to see this type of active weather for the coming months, but at least it will suppress the activity right now and kind of tamp things down just a little bit as we head into the forecast. But we are in the final countdown here to Halloween. 2 days until trick-or-treaters come out, 5 days until we fall back, 7 from Election Day, and 30, the round number there, until Thanksgiving. After that, it's Christmas and New Year's. You know how it goes. Okay, daylight saving time. We get an extra hour of sleep. This Sunday, set the clocks back 1 hour. We're going to head into standard time. The long-range outlook calling for likely warmer conditions throughout the Pacific Northwest and Northern California, and a likely drier one as well. So it looks like these two next weather systems are about it in the forecast. So we're going to take every little drop and flake we get from this as we get going with our Wednesday, Thursday rain system. That one, by the way, doesn't impact Southern California. It kind of fizzles out as it starts to move through the state. But the next one, it has a lot more moisture associated with it. So I wanted to expand the view so you could see Friday, we start to see the rain and snow impacting Northern California. This will stay in place through Saturday, but then during the weekend, it goes all the way into Southern California. So snow continues in the Sierra all the way into the Southern Sierra. Rain for Southern California Saturday night into early Sunday before everything starts to wind down. And then after that, as you saw with that long-range outlook, we are into a drier weather pattern for much of next week. So kind of nice to see the variety here in our forecast. Highs for tomorrow, by the way, in the 40s for the Sierra, 50s and 60s down the hill with highs along the coast in the 60s. We're going to be in the 60s as we head inland. It's a cooler day tomorrow as we get ready for our rain and snow event to start gearing up here. Highs will drop into the 30s this weekend for the Sierra. So again, if you're headed up to the high country, be prepared for a lot of cold weather up there. On and off rain for the foothills, and we'll see a few showers as well for the coast. Highs will be in the 60s to near 70. Now, our forecast is going to look a little bit different because we split the days here between our weather impact alert time frame and the non-weather impact alert. And we just wanted to be really specific because we've got the holiday coming up with Halloween. So it's Wednesday evening through Thursday morning, and the biggest rain actually comes through overnight Wednesday through early Thursday. Then we get a break largely Thursday afternoon through almost all of Friday, but heavy rain develops Friday night through early Saturday, so another weather impact alert going into effect there. After we get through that, we've got a beautiful wrap up to the weekend. The air is probably going to feel so fresh and clean after that first rain, and we'll see those highs close to 70. We've got our voting day, our election day on Tuesday. Highs will be near 70, but really next week it's going to be very seasonable with clear skies. So that's a look at the forecast and those weather impact alert days ahead.